making some more how-to videos. And the number one video that I've been asked to make, I have not made yet. So I'm going to teach people that don't know how to drive stick, And I think I can pull it off in a video. As you can see, obviously, there are 3 pedals to those who have no idea what I'm talking about. You've got your gas, which is right there. Your brake, which is right there, and that is your clutch. And I know there's someone out there that's watching this video that has no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to explain it a little bit here. Let me get in. This is a 2013 Jeep Wrangler. It is a 6-speed manual transmission. And to those of you that have never driven a stick, it is not that hard. If you've got good hand-eye coordination, you can figure it out. It's really not hard. This is a 6-speed. This is the gear shift pattern. Obviously, you start out in first, and I will explain most of this. This is a 6-speed. It's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then, lastly for highway, sixth is straight down. On this one, it's got a knockover, so you don't accidentally throw it into reverse. But what you want to do to put it in reverse is, you'll feel it. This is neutral right here. To put it into reverse, you actually kick it over. There's a little knockover to prevent you from throwing it into reverse if you're driving. So to go into reverse, you would just kick it all the way over and straight down, and that would be reverse. And you can feel it. There's no mistake throwing it down into reverse from 6th gear, which is right here, to reverse. You can feel it. But this is the 4-wheel drive transfer case, by the way. So a lot of people have asked me, how do I drive stick? I want you to teach me how to drive stick. So instead of me letting them get this vehicle and destroy my clutch, I'd rather just teach people. So this is how to drive a 6-speed manual transmission. And the basic principle is, if you can picture 2 pieces of metal, and I can't do this with 2 hands, but basically when the clutch is what engages and disengages your gears. Now your clutch, if you can picture, is a plate, and your flywheel is here. Your flywheel is constantly spinning from the engine, constantly spinning. And the clutch is what connects your entire drive line back to this flywheel. Now, when your clutch is disengaged, or you don't have it, you're not hitting the pedal, those 2 pieces are connected. Okay. Now, when you put your clutch in, which is the 3rd pedal, and it's hard to show. Here's your 3rd pedal. You put your clutch in. Those 2 disconnect. So your flywheel, which is on the engine side, continues to spin, but your drive line, which is on this side, stops and kind of just hangs there. So as you let up on the clutch, the drive line portion, or the clutch, presses into the flywheel and starts to spin. And I can't form a perfect circle. I'll try and include a demo or a picture, but starts to grab at the flywheel. So then as it grabs, you slowly start to spin. So in most automatic cars, you put it into drive and you just hit the gas and it goes. But with a stick shift, to have the vehicle stopped, you have to put the clutch in to disengage the drive line. So for example, at a dead stop, you'd have your foot on your brake and the clutch. You're in first gear. So at a stoplight, you'd be waiting, and you want to now move forward. The light is green. You would release your foot off of the brake and hit the gas. Now, at the same time, as you're hitting the gas forward, you want to slowly release up on the clutch. So as you release up on the clutch, it would then engage the clutch into the flywheel, and you would slowly start to move forward. And the easiest way to describe it is to just try it out. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination. And basically, what you want to do is, and I hope this gets a picture of my face, the easiest way to describe driving a stick shift would be you either do one or the other. Basically, giving it gas, you want to give it gas. As you put the clutch in, you want to release on the gas and pressing the clutch. So it's always one or the other. So you're giving it gas in one gear. You press the clutch in, release the gas. Shift to your next available gear. Whether you're in 2, you go to 3, or if you're in 3, you go to 4. Then as you release the clutch, at the same time, you want to give it gas to match the same RPM. It's a lot of talk, but honestly, the easiest way is to just try it out. It's a lot of trial and error. I learned many years ago how to drive stick, so I recommend finding an old beater car or a truck with a stick shift and trying that out first before you get a vehicle and just bare bones learn a truck, with a stick shift. I'm going to attempt to put this in the pocket here and hope it holds. I hope. Maybe. We'll find out. Okay, so I've got the emergency brake on. Always, if you have a manual transmission, you're going to leave the emergency brake on. I'm going to take the emergency brake off, put it into first gear. As I release off the brake, I'm going to release off the clutch. And as I release off the clutch, I'm going to start to give it gas. So that way it doesn't stall. You're manually controlling the gears. As I release off the clutch, I start to give it a little gas. And then I put the clutch in and come to a stop and I hit the brake. Now, I'm at a stop. I need to make a left turn, right turn. I'll make a left. So I'm in first gear. As I let off the brake, I'm not on a hill, so I'm just kind of sitting here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release off the clutch with my left foot. At the same time, start to give it gas to keep it in that gear. So I'm in first gear. As I'm releasing off the clutch, I'm giving it gas. So now I'm in first gear, and I'm going to remain in first gear. I'm not going to go any faster than maybe 10 miles an hour. So once you reach the top of your speed, which is this, 10 miles an hour is as fast as the Jeep will go in first gear. You release off the gas, put the clutch in, shift to your next available gear, which is second. Then as you drive, you release off the clutch and give it gas. So you're always alternating. And you're doing it in such a way where it's a smooth transition. You want to make sure the drive line between gears is smooth. Now for me, I'm doing this how-to video and I'm driving and looking through all my mirrors to make sure there's no traffic. So it's a little tough for me to do all this and explain it all at once. It's easier to just try it. Now I'm in third gear. Releasing off the clutch and giving it gas. Now I'm going down a hill, about 35 miles an hour, going into fourth gear. Now I'm in fourth gear. On this vehicle, fifth gear and sixth gear are mainly for highway. Sixth gear is anything above 55 or 55 itself. I'm going up a hill right now. Now, downshifting. I'm going up a hill. I'm going to need to drop it down to the next available gear because fourth gear isn't cutting it. I'm starting to lose RPMs. You put the clutch in, shift down to third, pull up on the clutch and give it gas. So you're always alternating between the two. Which, by the way, the Jeep Wrangler is not exactly the most comfortable vehicle to drive, which is why this is probably the most bumpiest video I've ever done. But it's a lot of fun. So right now I'm in third gear, doing about 25 to 30 miles an hour, just cruising along. At some point, I'm going to reach the top of this gear, which is the top range. You can't go any faster in third gear. You could, but who wants to cruise at 5,000 RPMs in a single gear? So as I'm driving, I'm slowly climbing hills, so I'm taking my time, and I'm on a back road, so it's not exactly a busy highway. So I'm in third gear, maintaining third gear. Now, the other difference between a manual transmission and an automatic is when you let off the gas in an automatic, it's going to disengage for you, and you're going to cruise. In a manual transmission, as you drive, if you let off on the gas, it remains in gear and it lugs down and you can feel it. It'll always remain in gear. There's no letting off the gas and it disengages. To disengage it being in gear or in drive line, you have to put the clutch in. So when you go down a hill, it feels different than in an automatic, because in an automatic you would let off the gas and cruise down a hill and you would feel it just kind of lurch back and the RPMs would drop. But in a stick shift, you keep it in gear unless you put the clutch in. So therefore, you feel that lugging. It's totally normal. It's a manual transmission. You're in complete control of the driveline. I could technically go to 5th gear if I wanted to, but it's kind of low. You never want to go up too high in gears. Like, for example, I'm doing 30 miles an hour. This is 6th gear. I'm cruising at about 900 RPMs. Not optimal MPG for the engine. This is a 3.6 liter V6, which has variable valve timing. It pushes out about 285 horsepower. It's a torquey little motor. Weird design by Chrysler, but it works. I have no complaints. So I'm coming to a stop. Sitting at kind of an incline, I got my foot on the brake and on the clutch. I'm going to make a right-hand turn. Okay. So I'm making a right-hand turn. I'm looking wherever. I'm taking my time in this video, just because I can. So I want to make a right-hand turn. I'm in 1st gear. As I release the brake, I slowly let off the clutch and start to give it gas. And bear in mind, I am rolling backwards a little bit. That's a side effect of driving a stick. So as you cruise through each gear, you're always alternating between clutch and gas. Right now I'm in 2nd gear, giving it gas, reaching about the top of the RPM range for fuel economy. Once I reach the point where I'm not going to go any faster in this gear efficiently, I go to the next gear, put the clutch in, release the gas, go up to 3rd. As I release on the clutch to put it back into gear, I start to give it gas again. And you constantly do that. Now I'm in 4th gear. So as I'm in 4th gear, I start cruising down a hill. Now, for example, watch this. I'm going to let off on the gas and cruise down this hill. I'm still in gear, and it's lugging a little bit. Not much, but you feel it. It feels different. So now I'm cruising along about 40 miles an hour down this back road. Can you tell that I live in the middle of nowhere? A couple benefits to driving a stick shift. If you're off-roading or if you drive a lot in winter, having a stick shift and having the control of shifting through the gears is very beneficial for driving in snow and mud. You have a lot of control over the vehicle to be able to make it do what you want. Now, I'm coming to a stop. Here's what you do in a manual. You slowly start to hit the brake. You're still in gear. I'm still in gear. Engine's starting to lug. At the last minute, put the clutch in to disengage the gears. The benefit of doing this, you save wear on your brakes. Your brakes are going to take a pounding if when you need to stop, you constantly put the clutch in and hold it, and your brakes are the only thing that's stopping. You can downshift. You can use the engine to slow you down, but I really wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of a lot of waste. It puts a lot of engine wear. You don't really want to do that. This is Route 77 in the town of Bennington. Making a right-hand turn in 1st gear. Taking my time just to make sure no one's behind me, no one's to the left of me. Normally I don't drive like this, but I'm doing a how-to video, so I'm taking my time. Hanging a right onto 77, which, by the way, if you people are familiar with Jam in the Valley, it's right over that way. Hanging a right onto 77, releasing the clutch. I'm in 1st gear. Put the clutch in, release the gas. Shift to 2nd. Release the clutch, start to give it gas again. And you're constantly alternating. So eventually, you'll learn how to drive a stick, and it'll be a lot smoother process. I'm kind of easy shifting it. I don't really speed shift, but there's no real need to pound on it or drive like an idiot. You know what I mean? Now I'm in 6th gear. This is the cruising speed. I'm running about 1400 RPM, doing about 55 miles an hour. This is about the cruising speed. Once you get up to 6th gear, you just normally drive like you would.